So the first piece of footage that I wanted to show you is actual good play in your bad footage because I just wanted to show you that it wasn't really because you got shut down by your enemy. It was mostly because you were not as effective as you were in the other game that you sent me. So here we go. So we see here in this footage, you got booped off of Lucio. It's fine. But the main thing is you're back here. You're doing a lot of damage to Zarya. You're backing up. You're staying behind your team. Pretty safe. Obviously, you guys are winning this fight this whole time. But if you see here all this damage that you're doing just by simply staying in the back line and just shooting at the enemy team, like right here, you're shooting Reaper. I think you kill him actually. Yeah, you do. And you're just staying in the back. And if you actually break that down, you actually dealt 335 damage, and that's like half of Zarya, a third of Lucio, and half of Reaper. And that's like really efficient for over about 20 seconds. And the reason why we were able to do that is not we didn't really try to do too much like flank, end up getting caught out, or try to fight the enemy team when we're a healer and the DPS down. Instead, we just stuck with our teammates and just shot from the back line, and you were very efficient. So this is the quote-unquote good footage that you sent me. And what's interesting about it is actually that it's pretty similar to the footage that we showed earlier in the quote-unquote bad footage, because the same fundamentals still apply here in that you are holding a position very well by your team, and you're not doing anything really too fancy. You're just holding high ground. Obviously, this aim right here is really really good actually, but your aim in the other footage was actually really really good as well. So there's actually not too many differences here. The same fundamentals that apply of you staying around your team and doing pretty solid backline support, and you're actually really safe here as well because you can always drop down to your team at any point. So overall, really good. So back in the bad footage, I just wanted to show you this little flank here. I don't think this is the worst flank, but we're not really accomplishing too much. It also doesn't help that we get greedy and overextend really heavily. And as you'll see in the clip, what we could have done is just push with our team on the left side and just lay down fire behind Reinhardt, and we would have done way more as opposed to this little flank here. So this is a really, really, really good example of you just chilling in the back line and just supporting your team and pushing them all throughout the map. I also think that part of it is that you're not exactly sure how to play these close quarter maps as a soldier, if I remember you mentioning that correctly. And it seems like you're more comfortable with these narrow payload maps, which is good. But right here you can see the huge difference. Like this whole sequence of you just moving up along the high ground and you pushing with your team right here is great. Notice how you're not really killing anyone, but you also notice that Torberone and Zarya and everyone else are backing up because they really can't handle this pressure, and they can't handle you up here just handling all the pressure. Like if you see this Mercy, she has to hide for cover and she can't heal everyone. Just all this pressure that you're exerting. Granted, you're not killing anyone, but that's not the point. The point is that you have all this presence. As opposed in the bad footage, you just kind of flanked and died in 2 seconds for really no good reason because Genji was flanking as well. But yeah, right here, this whole sequence of you just putting down so much pressure is really good. While I don't think it was the most important factor, I also need to address your aim over here as well. As you can see, you're shooting way too fast and way too erratic. Like that Hanzo right there should have been dead. And just your overall burst control was really, really out of whack. Like right here, you can see that you're kind of shooting those rapid two-shot bursts that we've been talking about. And when you shoot those and you just miss consistently, it just gets worse and worse because the spread gets worse and worse. So in that footage, I just wanted to point out that you're still having that bad habit of not having the best burst control by shooting two-shot bursts. It would just keep shooting it over and over. In the good footage over here, you can see that your burst control is way, way better. Like, look at you kill that Ana. I think overall, or next up you'll see I'll see that you kill Lucio. But overall, this burst control is so much better. And the biggest difference is that you just took your time with each and every one of your shots. In the last clip, all you did is just shot two-shot bursts and kind of hope that some of them would hit. But right here, notice how that 1 extra second, it made a huge difference in your aim because, yeah, at least you got away, it's whatever, but see how much damage you did to him. And just to see how much damage you can do just by pausing is crazy. So just watch out for your burst control next time you play your games. In this footage, I just wanted to show you that this is the good footage, by the way. I just wanted to show you that you still have these hiccups, like inefficiency hookups. Like, I know that you're looking for flankers here, and I think you end up killing the soldier that flanks. But if you look at it, it's pretty much you just not doing any damage for a solid like 10 to 15 seconds. What you could have done, and you could have still covered the flank, is you could have just stood by the silo over there to the right and then still contribute to your team. But instead, you kind of just noodle around the high ground looking for flankers, when in reality, you weren't really doing anything. And you'll see that in the bad footage as well, but I just wanted to point out that in good footage, you still have these like awareness hiccups that doesn't seem like you know what you should be doing, or you could be more efficient here. So in this footage, I just wanted to show you that this is a part positioning, part awareness, but you can see right away that Mercy and Genji just died. And if we play the clip here, you notice that you didn't really do anything. You kind of just started fighting, and then Reaper ended up killing you. And then it looks like you kind of noticed that your whole team died by pressing tab, but by then it was too late. So before then, there was a bunch of fighting going on, but I think you kind of just got caught up, and you weren't really aware of what was going on, especially after Mercy and Genji died. But I just wanted to point out that that was another part of you. It's less about being not being efficient, but this is less more of you not being aware of the moment. So I just wanted to show you that you still have these hiccups that you kind of just get into it, and then you kind of just forget that you should be looking at the kill feed, and you should be aware of how the fight is going at all times. So after comparing those two, overall, it wasn't really about you getting shot down by the enemy team. It was really more because you were not efficient as you were in the good footage versus the bad footage. And by efficient, I mean you were dying too much. Your aim could have been a bit better, but that wasn't really that too big of a factor. It was mostly because you were dying too much, and you were kind of picking fights where you shouldn't be. You got caught out where you shouldn't be, and then that basically just compounded more and more, and then you end up with like a subpar performance. Where in the good footage, you had your positioning on point, you had your awareness on point, you knew when to retreat, you knew when to push, you knew when to support your team, and in the bad footage, that just straight up didn't happen. So hope you are able to see that, and hope this helps.